So I try to do it 5 days a week at minimum.
Wow. How many hours a day?
At least like 3 to 4. At a certain point, because there's a lot of rejection when it comes to phone calls and cold calling in general, you have to be able to separate yourself from that and just reset mentally. Take a walk.
That makes
listen
sense.
to some music.
Oh, I get that. Yeah, kid. Welcome everybody back to another episode of Smells Like Cat Pee with Handsome. I'm your host, Charles Weinraub, aka the Handsome Home Buyer, formerly Captain Permit. We still love Captain Permit. 516-513-8838. I'm getting a little rusty on the number because they're right upstairs. Who's sponsoring this?
Cardinal Financial.
Fucking A, Cardinal Financial. Not only Cardinal Financial, but who? You know him. We love him. He's the man, right? You're obviously a real estate agent.
I am
Obviously a very successful one because you're on your top 20 under 40. Mazel tov, sir.
Thank you.
That's a big deal. Plus, this year, the top 20 under 40 versus last year, because we're in 2023 already, right? Highest GCI, GTI, whatever it is. You guys sold more shit than any other class before you.
Really?
Yeah, not a joke.
I didn't know.
You guys were out there slinging houses, making money, making it happen.
That's dope. It's good to know.
Yeah, no. So you should feel good. Everyone's 6 figures. 6 figures plus, everybody.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. I mean,
Yeah, some heavy hitters out there. So, have you ever accepted a deal and then found out that the person didn't qualify for a mortgage?
Absolutely. It just happened.
Sucks.
Worst thing.
It used to happen to me. It doesn't happen anymore. Do you know why?
Tell me.
Because fucking Sal Rizzolo pre-quals every one of these people before I take an offer. And if he gets the deal, thank God, that's amazing because we close in like freaking 16 days and I know it's going to get closed. And if he doesn't get the deal, that's fantastic. He's cool with that too. But you know what happens? The fucking deal closes.
Gotta love it.
In the maybe 0.0001% of the time, somebody loses their job like 2 weeks before. God himself wouldn't have known, or maybe God would have. Is God a he or a she, do you think?
Non-binary.
Non-binary.
It's non-binary.
Nothing.
God.
There's nothing there. It's just flat.
It's everything and nothing at the same time.
It's immaculate conception. So obviously, if you are a realtor or an investor or an attorney or a loan officer who wants to work for a kick-ass bank, you got to work for Sal Rizzolo. It's that simple. All right, so let's get into it. A, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Appreciate
on
it.
many fronts. A, overcome just the fear. I'm happy. You overcame it, and we're here. 2, top 20 under 40. 29 years at 29 because it was just your birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get into the actual nuts and bolts of it. So, the thing I'm most curious about is, like, you would hit me up originally. So let's get it out there because it'll make me feel better. We were supposed to podcast. You bailed on me. Then this year you hit me up and you were like, "Hey, listen, we're going to do this." I was like, "Great, let's do it." How do you sell so many houses and be DL like that?
So, I mean, I think I'm a testament to the old business. I feel like the real bootstrapping in, just kind of like, door knocking, cold calling.
Is that what it is?
That's been the testament of my business for sure. Like, just really all the methods that you would find on like a how to do real estate on YouTube.
Okay.
Because there's really no how to on social media, right? It's kind of just like an ambiguous flow state.
No, you go on like, if I want to know how to do anything, I feel like Brussels sprouts, right? I go on TikTok. 60 seconds, I got it.
I got to get TikTok.
You don't have TikTok?
No, I don't have TikTok.
You don't have social media?
I have social media. So I do have social media. I've got the basics. I've got the Facebook. I've got the Instagram.
Basically, so that's the thing. So it's interesting. So all the top 20 under 40 people, the commonality or what I kind of pull out of everybody, which just kind of happened, was the more people you know and the more people that like you, the more business you're going to do. That simple.
100%.
But how do you go about doing that, right? So like Justin Soriano does all these like charitable events and he meets all people like that. Denise does a ton of open houses, which open houses are gangster. She gets a ton of business through that. Yeah. There was a girl that actually does a lot of cold calling. People do door knocking. Kat does all Instagram. Like all of her business comes through Instagram. She only really works with a lot of buyers and they see her on Instagram. They're like, "We love you. We want you to sell us a house."
Okay.
You're a cold calling door knocker, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously have other methods, like, I'll try to replicate myself in training somebody on how to do exactly what it is that I do on the phone and all that good stuff, and then assist them. But that's really the meat and potatoes. It's no secret sauce. It's just simple bootstrapping and making the calls and putting in the work.
So you have 100% of your deals last year. How many of them were buyers? How many of them were listings?
I think I only did like, 2021, the year that I won the award, was all listings.
All listings.
Pretty much.
How long have you been in real estate for?
This is going to be my 5th year.
Wow. Yeah, most of the top 20 under 40 people also that won were in it like 5 years or less. So you won it year 3.
Yes.
Which is very impressive.
Thank you.
So all listings.
Pretty much. I think I had like my brother that bought his first house. Shout out to him. But other than that, no, nobody else. Just
all listings.
Yeah.
Wow. Has that changed over the last couple of years, especially with where we are right now?
Yeah, I'm transitioning back to buyers.
Really?
It's a tough market for the seller, because right now it's, you never know what you're going to get week after week, because as these interest rates are fluctuating and as buyers are getting,
I think we're good now though, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I think it shook out. I think we're okay. Unless rates keep going up, which I don't think they are. I think they're going down.
We kind of hit our baseline.
Yeah.
But I would still say that right now, the correction and as far as like listing prices and all that good stuff hasn't necessarily taken effect. Not from my experiences anyway.
So let me ask you this question. So basically you get into the business, you're with Fave Realty, right?
Correct.
You're always with Fave Realty?
Always with Fave.
So you get in with Fave Realty, you're like, I'm going to be the cold call and door knocking guy. You're from Long Beach, which immediately gives you a certain level of street cred, right? Because people that grew up in Long Beach are kind of badass.
Really?
You're either badass or you're a surfer or you're a badass surfer. You do both.
I do both.
And you're jacked. Anybody reference the Instagram? This is the Instagram handle right there. With a surfboard, jacked, in the gym.
Once upon a time.
Jacked.
Guys. Once upon a time.
So, were you taught at Fave cold call door knock? Like, where did the cold call door knock thing come from?
Yes.
And are you doing that only in Long Beach? Or do you have like a target area?
No. So, as far as like what areas I'm calling and
Yes.
stuff. So, I kind of have like a 1,000 ways to skin a cat mentality. I'll do Staten Island. I did a deal in Staten Island. I do a deal in Yonkers.
You're calling over there?
I call everywhere.
Do you actually call everywhere?
Yes, I do.
What's the methodology here? Like, take us through it. CRM, where are the leads coming from? How many days are you calling? How often are you calling? What are you doing to these people?
So I try to do it 5 days a week at minimum.
Wow. How many hours a day?
At least like 3 to 4.
Did you call today?
I did not this morning.
Okay.
But I'm going to as soon as we're done here.
Wow.
Yeah.
You will hit the phone for 3 to 4 hours
Not
a day.
straight. Never straight.
Okay, consecutively.
You have to do the same way you ever study for a big exam, and you have to take like 45 minutes to study and then 15-minute breaks, or
Got it.
break it up. At a certain point, because there's a lot of rejection when it comes to phone calls and cold calling in general, you have to be able to separate yourself from that and just reset mentally. Take a walk.
That makes
listen
sense.
to some music.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
So give me the spiel. Where's the lead coming from? Is it a FISBO? What is it? Or you just there was a guy who was on here once who was like, I called him the king of cold calls. That's all he did all day long. And he called everybody. And when I mean everybody, he just fucking called everybody.
Yeah.
There was no rhyme or reason about it. He's like, I'm going to call everybody in fucking Limbrook for the next 2 weeks. And all he did was call every person that lives in Limbrook. Hey, what's going on? It's Tyler. You want to sell your house? No. Do you know someone who wants to sell their house? You know someone who wants to buy the house? All right, cool. Fuck me. Good. Fuck you. I'm out. Next. Like, that's what he did.
Yeah, kind of.
Is that what you do?
Pretty much. I don't necessarily say I'm going to call Limbrook for the next 2 weeks. I just have a list. I'll do absentee. I'll do, expireds. I'll do the for sale by owners. I'll just do a random like open house that I'm doing that weekend. I'll do the circle prospecting, all that good stuff. For everywhere, like I'll have somebody lined up in Connecticut, and then I'll just send somebody from Connecticut to go do that deal. It's my whole thing is
Does Fave have people in Connecticut?
We do. We have a Connecticut office. But the whole thing is, it's just figuring out the best way to hone in on my skill. And my skill set, is essentially just building familiarity and rapport over the phone. Yeah.
Makes sense. Did you have any cold calling experience before getting into real estate?
No, not at all. I actually was I was going to school for physical therapy prior to getting into the real estate industry, and I did personal training for like a year out of high school, but that was about it.
Wow. So only cold calls.
Pretty much.
So what's the spiel? You pick up the phone, ring, ring, ring. Hello?
Good afternoon. This is Adam Fave Realty. I was just giving you a call. I saw that you were. Depending on what we're calling. Are we calling buyers? We're calling sellers?
Well, you call buyers?
I do call buyers.
Well, take me through the sellers first.
Okay. So, ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, I saw that your property at 123 Main Street. The property just expired. Just wanted to know what you're in the market looking to do, if anything is changing with your plans. Pretty much just getting a feel for where they are. Most of the time, it's like a fuck you, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
But,
are you affected by that at all anymore?
dude, I mean, I've been told fuck you so many times that, it's
Yeah.
just, it's part of the business,
Yeah. Wow.
It is what it is.
Did it bother you at the beginning?
Not so much.
It never did.
really did. I always had like a detachment from the experience. I never was like, committed to the result or had an expectation to the result of whatever is gonna happen. Like there was no expectation going in, so whenever they would tell me no or tell me whatever, it is what it is.
Got it. So, and how many calls did you think it takes to get an appointment?
Every 100 phone calls, about 10 you get about 10 contacts, meaning 10 people that actually answer the phone.
Okay.
Out of those 10 people that answer the phone, maybe one of them is going to be somebody that has like a decent conversation with you.
Okay.
And if you do that, multiply it over the course of 10 hours, you now have 10 people that are potentially, and it's never like here today, I'm going to.
You make 100 calls an hour?
100 calls an hour, yeah. Using the, random dialers and stuff.
Wow. So, all right, just to put people in perspective, because I have conversations with realtors all the time, and they're like, I need to do a bit more business, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, what are you doing? And like, I look at your Instagram at like 2 o'clock on a fucking Tuesday, and you're not doing shit. Like you're getting your nails done, or you're in the fucking gym, or whatever it is. Now, you might be working the rest of the day, but probably not. So the point I'm trying to make here is, if you want to be top 20 into 40, you make 100 phone calls an hour through a dialer, 5 days a week for 4 to 5 hours on average.
Mm-hmm.
Every 100 people, you're going to have one person that 10 people are going to pick up. 9 of those 10 people are going to tell you to go fuck yourself. One of those people is going to actually have a conversation with you, but possibly tell you to go fuck yourself halfway through anyway.
Or just never do anything at any point in time.
And then, so if you have an entire month period where you've called for 4 to 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for 4.3 weeks, because it's 4.3 weeks in a month, how many listings do you get?
In that month?
In that month.
You see,
Doing
the
some math
misconception is that you're going to get it that month, right? You see, if I start prospecting today,
Okay.
I'm prospecting for the spring. If I'm prospecting in the spring, I'm prospecting for the summer. If I'm prospecting in the summer, I'm prospecting for the winter, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
And
So how long
And
is
it
so the follow-up is what, like, you're talking about a 3 to 6 month follow-up.
3 to 6 month follow-up.
All right, so I'm just doing math here. If you call 5 days a week, you're calling 4 hours a day at 100 numbers an hour for 4.3 weeks a month is 8,600 calls. So 8,600 calls gets you the opportunity to get one listing 3 to 6 months down the road after you've then tortured them for another 3 to 6 months.
Yep. I mean, when you break it down like that, it sounds excruciating. But when you're really in the office, like you said, there's a lot of idle time in real estate. There's nobody telling you what to do. There's no clock in, clock out. So what I find a lot of people end up doing is, they'll be in the office, but they're not doing anything in the office. They're,
of course.
They're, keeping up with the Joneses. They're having a conversation about what just happened on the Kardashians, or they're, figuring out what sports team is going to make it to the, whatever championship they're whatever.
Not Adam Dejesus. I even like the way that roll. You like Dejesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's fucking smooth. Everything in Spanish sounds better. It's
I
a
agree.
fact.
That's why I had to learn Spanish.
How is your Spanish? Decent?
It's on a scale of 1 to 10, about like a 7.
How's your dancing?
What are we talking about?
Bachata, merengue, salsa, típico?
I can dance all of it. Yeah.
All of it?
All of it, yeah.
Really?
Salsa is probably my My worst, which is surprising.
No, salsa's the hardest, bro.
I know it is, but it's also supposed to be second nature for a Puerto Rican.
Okay, but you're only part Puerto Rican.
Yeah, fair enough.
What percentage?
50%.
Oh, 50%.
50%.
Yeah, you
It's
should
a
be.
large chunk,
Yeah, you should be pretty
but
decent.
it's only my dad.
Is it salsa on 2?
I do in linea, but it's supposed to be on 2.
What's in linea?
So like, I don't know how to do. I don't know how to verbalize
Do a
it.
little,
want me to
do a little something here. Can we get this on camera?
You know. Yeah, whatever. It's a lot easier to show it, but no.
Bro, you're coming all the way out of your shell today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I took salsa lessons for 9 months.
Oh yeah.
They put
How'd
me
it
on the
go?
salsa performance team.
And what were you? What style were you learning? Cuban.
Salsa on 2. So it's like American salsa on 2,
Okay.
right? So basically the guy goes back first. He doesn't move forward first.
Okay.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know it that way.
No? How do you know it?
Guy leads forward first and goes back.
Yeah, see, salsa on 2 that's like Puerto Rican salsa on 2. She moves first, then you're back. You're doing that whole thing.
Yeah, there's certain cultural nuances to. I travel all around South America, and
I see that.
when I did, like everybody had a different style,
Everybody
has their own style.
Everybody has different style.
and it's hard to keep up. The same way, like when I thought I knew Spanish, had a 10 out of 10. I just crossed the border and was immediately humbled by the jargon and the.
Well, it also depends on where you are, man. Like, so I'll give very, very quick random ass story. So I was Spanish in a previous life. I think Dominican, most likely.
Dominican.
Yes.
Why Dominican?
Because I talk a lot of shit.
Okay.
And you don't
Puerto Ricans talk a lot of shit.
act as it. Not like Dominicans, bro.
Cubans sometimes. Nah,
Have you
Cubans
been to Washington Heights?
I have, yeah.
I've seen a 72-year-old woman get hit on by a pack of dudes on the street in Washington Heights.
Wow.
Have you ever seen a group of Puerto Rican guys hitting on a 72-year-old lady with a limp and a walker? Like, oh, your mommy, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you?
No. No.
Okay.
I'm saying, there you got it.
I don't know. Well, I'm just saying it's Dominican. I think I was a bachatero.
Okay.
Like I was Romeo before, like it was the earlier generation of Romeo, like in the 1600s or some shit.
So do you
That's
speak
not
Spanish?
decently well, yeah.
Yeah?
Not like.
¿Cómo
So,
aprendiste español?
how did I learn Spanish?
Yeah.
So I learned Spanish 2 ways. A, I was sort of married to a Puerto Rican woman
Okay.
who grew up in Washington Heights. 2, I've been immersed in the Spanish culture through business my entire life, from the time I was 23 years old when I opened up a body shop in Hempstead to now in construction, right?
You had a body shop, a car body shop?
Yeah, Mako. You know, better get Mako on TV?
Yeah, yeah.
I owned the one in Hempstead for 10 years.
Wow.
So I've been around, mostly I've been around people from Central America.
Okay.
Now, there's a word in Central American culture called zerote. You know what zerote means?
No.
Okay. So my fiance or girlfriend at the time, she's a teacher in Brentwood. So she was yelling at the kids because they were being really bad that day. And she's like, if you guys don't behave, you're going to get a big fat zerote. And she's telling me the story. And I'm like, you can't say that. She's like, why? She's like, yeah, the kids looked at me horrified. And they were all from like El Salvador, Guatemala, etc. Because zerote means piece of shit in El Salvador.
Yeah, yeah.
But in Puerto Rico, it means zero.
Right.
So to your point, it depends on like, Spanish is tough because it depends on where you are.
Yep. Yep.
Like you could call somebody like a cabron in one country and they're like, hey, and then in another country you're saying like your wife bangs other dudes and you know about it.
Yep. Those subtle nuances of every, like I said.
Or not
all
so
these-
subtle in that case.
Yeah. Well, either way, in these Latin American cultures, you just never know what you got to make sure you have like that one person that's like feeding you some, like you did. You can't say that. You got to give them the reason why. Let them know what they're saying to the vast population of the people that they're dealing with.
I was really excited at that point because I was like, I just taught my Puerto Rican girlfriend Spanish. And then, so you know Puerto Rico. So you know there's a place called Hobos
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico, like a big surfing place.
Mm-hmm.
So my Jewish ass was like, I called it Jabo. And she's like, where the hell is that? And I'm like, I got her again. And then she looked at me like all cross-eyed and she's like, you mean hobos? And I was like, all right.
You only get once.
Yeah, only once. But that's right. I won one battle. I may have lost the war, but I won one battle. So back to real estate.
Okay.
So, and the door knocking.
Okay.
So where are you door knocking?
So depends on the day of the week. So
how often do you door knock?
At least once or twice a month.
Okay.
Got it. 'Cause the main thing is
Your main thing is you're a call guy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. When it comes to the door knocking, it helps when you've called in a specific area and now you're going to basically just put a face to the name, especially if that person gave you a pleasant response. Hey, just.
So you mark it down. Like if you call somebody and they have a conversation with you and they're like later, then you actually go to their house.
Yeah, and then I start going around that area.
Do you actually go to their house though?
Yeah.
Do they ever look at you with like the look of horror?
Haven't so far.
No?
Again, it comes down to the rapport that you have on the phone.
Yeah.
If you have no rapport and you're just like somebody who was like, F you, don't call me, and now you're going to their door and you're just, showing up, it's just like,
Wow. I give you a lot of credit, man. You got a set of brass ones.
thanks, man.
It's not easy to do that. Like it's not easy to cold call for that amount of time and hear fuck you that many times. And then after someone's like, yeah, you cool, just to like show up on their door and be like, hey, it's Adam. We were talking on the phone like 3 weeks ago.
Well, I didn't know anything different.
Listen, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And if you have that platform, I feel like that's the hardest thing. Like you've mastered early on the hardest thing to do. And now if you just add in like all the social media stuff and the other different marketing avenues, you could fucking destroy it.
So if you are talking to somebody that doesn't have social media or doesn't utilize it, how would you say it's impacted you in your business?
It's completely changed my life.
Okay.
So before, and be honest, right? Before I reached out to you to say, hey, let's podcast, did you know who I was?
Mm-mm.
Really? All right, that was a fucking backfire on my part, not your part, my part. Because I was going to transition to be like, you knew who I was, but we've never met before, probably because of social media. But that backfired, so I'm going to retreat. All right, so I'll put it to you this way.
Dick thing.
No, not at all.
Oh.
No, it's the truth.
I know you now.
No, it's fine.
You're
I'm
very-
not offended. Dude, I'm never offended.
Okay.
So if I go out, let's say it's a Saturday, if I go out on the weekend, every single weekend, at least one person is going to say, hey, I know you from social media or TV or something like that. The agents, so I get a lot of deals from agents and wholesalers and stuff.
Okay.
Now, let's say we meet, you like me, like I'd love to do deals with Charles, but then you kind of forget about me because you don't see me all the time. But since I'm on social media posting so much content, you can't forget me. So, all right, so you're an agent, you take a lot of listings. What percentage of the listings you get every year are houses that are like fucked up? Like they stink like cat piss, they're a disaster, they're fucking falling down.
At least 2 to 3.
Okay. So, but it's not every day.
No.
So how many houses did you list in 2021? Do you remember?
I think there was 30 something.
Okay. So you listed 30. 5 to 10% of the 30, which isn't really a lot, are going to be nasty houses that I might have a shot at.
Right.
Now, if I'm not touching you constantly in that moment where you get that house, no chance you're calling me. But if every time you pick up your phone, you see me there, whether you're listening to my shit or not, but you see my face, you're probably going to call me. Right?
Now, so you have basically you.
Yeah.
And I would say you're probably one of the pioneers here in Long Island for doing what it is that you do with, the cat piss houses and making social media content.
You're trying to redeem yourself after that thing before. It's working.
Sorry.
You're trying to redeem yourself after that thing before. It's working.
I hope so.
Keep talking dirty. Keep going.
So what about the average Joe who isn't you?
But that's the thing. Like, it's all about, the cool thing about social media is, it sounds a little fucked up, but it's like perception is reality. So you can be anybody you want on social media. Most of the people you watch on social media are completely full of shit. Like, now, I'm not a proponent of being full of shit, but it's just a matter of this. You are the minority in the sense that everybody's on social media all the time for the most part.
100%.
You're not, but everybody else is. And if everybody's attention is on their phone all the time and you're not on the phone, they're not thinking about you, they're thinking about somebody else. Plus, it's just, so that's how I use it with realtors. But it adds to your brand, because if you meet somebody and maybe they're like, you know what, Adam's cool, but I don't know. And then they go on social media and then they see you and they're like, oh, look, he's jacked, he surfs, he loves alpacas. I want to list my house with this guy, right? So that's the kind of stuff that goes on. Then you can also use social media to expand your sphere. Like right now, the thing with you is, it's like, do you get a lot of referrals?
I do.
On closed clients, right?
Yeah.
But the only way you're getting business is by
Closing a deal.
By calling.
Right.
So I'll give you another thing, right? Or something I did, but you can do it a different way. So I had this program called the Elite Agent.
Okay.
So what somebody I thought was an elite agent, I would have this, it would be like 5 minutes and we would dance and we would talk about a listing and all that, right? Now every realtor's like, bro, I want to be on the Elite Agent. That's dope. Why aren't I an elite agent? Then I have agents calling me who want to sell me deals because they want the action, right? They want to be on social media. They want to be in the public eye. They want to have fun. They want the experience. Social media provides that experience. So it's a combination of a bunch of different things. It's a combination of adding credibility, adding another touch point that's digital, right? And then being able to provide an experience for people. Like realtors, like I say to realtors, you should be the king or the queen of like a town. So let's say you take a town like Babylon Village. You would launch a program where you would interview business owners, you would do restaurant reviews. You would like do all kinds of shit inside of the town. So what happens? You go into a business, you interview a business owner. That business owner knows everybody in Babylon, right? They all follow that person on social media. You make the video, you tag them in it. They share it on their page. Everybody in Babylon that they know is now watching you with them. They're bragging about it. He loves you so much. Somebody comes in talking about selling a house. Hey, Adam's a realtor. You see the episode I had with him, blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for you, it's like, if you're not cold calling to get that lead or getting a referral as a result of the cold call, that's like where it begins and ends.
Right. And
there's nothing wrong with that.
But and hear me, I definitely understand social media would be advantageous to business, and I'm definitely a proponent of, hence the reason why I'm here. I'm trying to make that turn. But my whole thing is, the question that I was getting at when it comes to that average agent, let's put in time, put it into perspective of what you were just saying as far as time invested.
Okay.
You were saying I make somewhere in the ballpark of 80, what was it, 8,500 calls?
8,600 calls a month.
Okay, 8,600 calls a month.
Yeah.
Let's say that incorporates somewhere in the ballpark of like 40 hours of actual phone time.
I budgeted for 20 hours a week. So you're at 20,
40 hours
40,
a month.
80. You're at 100 hours a month.
Okay, 100 hours a month invested.
Cold calls.
Sitting there making cold calls.
Yes.
How would you do that same breakdown for somebody who is like, again, not you.
Okay.
Somebody like, a fresh agent coming off the.
In what? 75. In regards to social media?
In regards to social media.
So let me say this. It's not a matter of one being better than the other.
No, I know that. I know that.
Do it all, right?
Do it all, right.
But depending on how crazy you want, like, listen, we do a lot. So we're posting 3-4 times a day across multiple platforms, plus doing stories and all that stuff. But you could really, all right, I'll do it like this. So when I first got into this, I had a guy named Matt R. Visual. He would come in and work with me for 4 hours a week.
Okay.
And we would put out a lot of content. We would put out a podcast and we would take 3 or 4 clips out of the podcast. We would do a vlog. We would do a bunch of other shit, take a bunch of still pictures. So we probably shoot, I would say, 4 to 5 hours a week. Is that accurate? Maybe a little more? 8 hours max? So we shoot for anywhere between 4 to 8, call it 6 hours a week is what we're shooting and devoting to like content. And then these guys are editing and making it beautiful and doing all that stuff. And that takes a lot longer.
Okay.
But you could spend 4 hours a week and you could bulk shoot the stuff. So you could sit down or you could hire a camera person to come in like 1 day a month and you can come up with like, let's say 30 quick videos that are like 15 to 60 seconds on anything in real estate. What's 3 things a buyer should know, 3 things a seller should know, whatever, right? And you could bulk shoot those in probably like an hour, and then you have all that content to release throughout the week.
Okay.
So it's a matter of matter of efficiency. And then in regards to like stories, people just kind of they appreciate you documenting your day about what's going on. And you just get creative with it. it can be a lot of work. It can be a job, but it freaking works, man.
Right. I totally,
It works.
I believe you 100%.
So you put together a plan. You start out small. Maybe you do it with just your phone, and then you start doing it. And then what's going to happen is like a drug, because then you realize it starts to work. Because you're going to be like in the supermarket, and someone's going to be like, "Oh, I follow you."
You get that a lot?
Everywhere, bro.
Really?
All the time.
Holy shit. Like a celebrity over here.
But like a triple Z rated celebrity in the real estate world. So most people, except you, know, before we met here today, know who I am in real estate just because of the volume of social media stuff. So it's very powerful.
Now, what would be your advice to somebody who is camera shy?
Get over it.
Get over it.
Do exactly what you did. You got over it. You hit me up and you were like, dude, it's time.
Okay.
And do it. So that's, and listen, you're on camera right now and you don't appear to be shy at all.
Oh, fuck. I'm shaking in my boots.
There are
bro.
some people that are on here. Well, you hide it well. Some people come on here and they're scared. Scott, Greg, yep. You don't appear scared. So just do it. You'll get over it. Nothing, for me, nothing is more terrifying. Like what you do with door knocking and cold calling is far more terrifying than speaking on camera.
You think so? You see, I always found it so weird because, like, I don't mind getting in front of an audience and giving a speech. I don't mind doing a presentation. But there's something about just the permanence of being on camera and then, like, let's just say I have like you saw that fucking presidential debate where Mike Pence had the fly on his forehead?
I mean, I saw the meme that was
the
forever.
meme, like,
yeah.
I'm gonna have my fucking Mike Pence fly on the forehead moment. I'm like, oh shit.
But let me ask
sucks.
you this question, right? I mean, if you like Pence or not, like, does it suck to be Mike Pence?
No.
He's fucking gangster.
Man, yeah.
Does it suck to be you? No. Even if you had a fly and you had one time, it still doesn't suck to be you.
Yeah. You know what it is? I feel like it started in high school. Everybody was getting auto-tuned. Remember that?
I remember.
That was like, what, 10 years ago? Everybody was getting like their fuck up sound clipped and put into an auto-tune song, and I always just thought of it like,
Okay.
you know, people think about like stage fright,
Okay.
and they just imagine like everybody in the audience like looking at them and judging them, and that's what makes them scared. For me, when it comes to the camera shyness, I'm just looking at it like, I'm gonna get fucking auto-tuned.
What does that even mean?
I'm gonna get fucking
Oh.
bro, like in 2012 when
Okay.
people they would like say something like
Okay. It would get auto-tuned.
the Catch Me Outside girl, how about that? And then then it turned into a song.
But I mean, but think about it like this, right? Like Jose Padro doesn't know this, but Jose Padro put out a dance clip the other day, and I'm gonna duet or auto-tune that shit, and I'm gonna dance right by him, right? But what does that do? All that does is give you more reach, makes you bigger.
You're right.
Like Mike Pence had the fly in his head, but I guarantee there's a ton of people that now know about Mike. They know about that shit because of it.
Right.
So all that shit does is make you bigger.
I totally agree, and I totally understand how irrational the fear is. Hence the reason in the message I
No,
said.
it's rational. It is.
No, it's
Most
all-
people have like, it makes sense.
There's scarier things. I mean, you know,
Of course.
but either way, that's the cross that I bore, and you know.
But now you're gonna be that guy. Now you're gonna be the social media guy.
I'm definitely gonna be that guy.
So what's the plan?
I'm gonna follow you for one.
You don't follow me? No.
Oh shit. We gonna do this?
You're
here?
offended by that, right? No. Wait, hold on. No, you don't follow me.
Bro. Look at my social media, dude. Look at how many pictures I got. Look at.
Actually, your last post is from 2020.
Yeah, dude. And
All right, I'm gonna follow you right
it's
now.
a fucking it's me making fun of the fact that everybody was freaking out about a cough, right? So first thing is I'm gonna just copy you. I'm just gonna do what the fuck you do.
And I'm always here for you if you have any questions. Listen, I'm not the greatest at it. I just do it and don't care, and it works. So the important thing is to have fun with it, and you're gonna see that it's gonna work. So to close this thing out, because we have a Christmas party to go to, there's 30,000. I've said this bit before. There's 30,000 realtors on Long Island. Do you know that?
I didn't know that, no.
30,000 realtors on Long Island. Let's say 30% of them are under the age of 40.
Okay.
99.9% of them have never been top 20 under 40, but they want to be top 20 under 40. What advice would you give them to become top 20 under 40?
Consistency. definitely consistency. Something I recognized early on is whether you're taking it full speed on the cold calling, social media, whether you're, walking into cat-piss-filled houses, just every single day, every single opportunity you get, just keep doing that. Keep hitting it.
No, it's true. It's all about, listen, if you want to work, you're going to get results. You're going to make money. If you don't want to work, you're not going to get results. You're not going to make money. And that's okay. Whatever life you want. But if you want to be top 20 under 40, consistency. Appreciate you, bro. Listen, if anybody's out there, because obviously you're going to be a social media god soon. If anybody out there is interested in listing a house, interested in buying a house, wants to follow you on social media, how do they find you?
At Adam Dejesus.
Dejesus.
And then
you got to say it like that so trumpets play in the background afterwards. Like,
so
Dejesus. Like that, right?
Yeah. Dejesus.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Dejesus.
Yeah. Enter the trumpets. What's your, Adam Dejesus? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's it.
Phone number?
516-506-3149. And I'll make sure I get some other social. I'll get a TikTok on there. I'll start
get all of
some
it, bro.
Dances,
whatever it takes. Whatever it fucking takes. Consistency. Got to post 2 to 3
times. You do some dances on TikTok?
I don't do dances on TikTok. I post a lot of shit on TikTok, but I will dance. Speaking of consistency, I consistently want to buy any house. 516-777 sold. And we should all consistently use Sal Rizzolo from Corona Financial. That's all I got to say. That's a wrap.